Time for Bible study live. It is 7:27 a.m. Central Time, and today we're going to wrestle through this. Have you ever thought about God's direction for your life? What divine direction does God have planned for your life? Have you ever asked yourself the question, what would my life be like if I followed God's plan for it? Have you followed God's plan, but ever wondered, what would my life be like if I hadn't followed God's plan? That's some of the stuff we're going to wrestle through this morning, and we're going to be digging into this devotional that I'm doing right now. That was in the YouVersion app, and it was written by Craig Groeschel, and it's a devotional called Divine Direction. So we're going to read through that together this morning, and then wrestle with the questions. So let's get started. Hey, thanks for joining me for Bible Study Live. Whether you're watching live or after the fact, do me a favor, drop a note in the comments, say hello. I always love it when people do that, and it gives me a chance to say hi back, even if it's after the fact. So this morning we're going to talk about divine direction for your life. What would your life? What's our life like? Like, what should we do? Should we take some chances? Shouldn't we? So there's a great devotional on the YouVersion app called Divine Direction. It's written by Craig Groeschel. So I'm going to kind of go through that this morning. And today's topic is stay. So let's get started. In this devotional, it says, look, I thought many times about how different my life would be if I'd given up when I wanted to. My story could have become something like, yeah, I used to think I was supposed to be a pastor, but I gave it a shot and things didn't work out. That's just how it goes. I'm certain you'll have to wrestle with occasional challenges in different seasons of your life. A boss you don't think you can stand another day, a relationship that's suddenly hurting, a dream that's running out of resources, a move that's failed your expectations. Whether you face difficulty or when you face difficulties, it's natural to reconsider your huge life altering decisions. Now, you may ask questions like these, and here's a list of questions in this Devo today. Should I take my chances, quit this job, and look for something else? Or after a spouse's affair, uh, is it time to move on? Am I really cut out to run a business? Should I cut my losses before things get worse? In each of these examples, and with most major life choices, you're at a crucial fork in the road, and it's time to decide, should I stay or should I walk away? I love this question. It says, am I choosing to give up because it's the right thing or because it seems like leaving would be easier? Ooh, that is a good question in this devotional today. Am I choosing to give up because it's the right thing or because it seems like leaving would be easier? So it says, often the best and most rewarding decisions you can make is to stay the course, even when it would be simpler to turn and walk away. I'm not saying you'll never need to walk away, but before you decide, ask yourself, am I choosing to give up because it's the right thing or because it seems like leaving would be easier? Sometimes the greatest act of faith is faithfulness, staying where you're planted. Years from now, you may look back and thank God that you decided to stay when it would have been easier to go. Remember, God made you in his image. He is the author and finisher of your story. You're not a quitter, you're a finisher. So let's do this prayer together at the bottom, and then we'll read some scriptures. So let's pray this. God, is there anything I'm trying to walk away from that you want me to stay and finish? Will you give me your strength to press on? Amen. So let's look at the Bible verses today. And we are not reading from the King James Version because I like to speak English. So we're going to read from the Christian Standard Bible. It says, but Ruth replied, don't plead with me to abandon you and return, or to return and not follow you. For wherever you go, I go. And wherever you live, I will live. And your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. That was Ruth to Naomi. In Isaiah 40:30 and 31, it says, youths may become faint and weary, and young men stumble and fall, but those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. James 5:7 and 8 says, therefore, brothers and sisters, be patient until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth and is patient with it until it receives the early and late rains. You must also be patient. Strengthen your hearts because the Lord's coming is near. And the last verse for today is this. It says, let us not get tired of doing good, for we will reap at the proper time if we don't give up. So what is this saying to you? You know, it's funny, as I'm reading through this devotional today, it kind of hits close to home because uh, I know throughout my life, I'm somebody, and my business partner, well, former business partner, but still one of my best friends in the whole world, like family, Chris Spear, he would tell you this about me. I get bored with stuff easy. If I'm not seeing immediate gratification, immediate success from something, I immediately want to jump to the next thing that I think will give me that feeling of succeeding, that feeling of, okay, this worked the way I wanted it to. I have a real hard time personally, like sticking through when stuff is not feeling like I want it to. I just, that's always been something in my life that I've struggled with. And what this devotional is reminding me of today is, you know, when and I know the Bible has a lot of agricultural references because of the time it was written, right? But I think those are still relevant to us. Let me explain what I mean by that. You know, we see agricultural references like, you know, planting and harvesting. And why that is still, I think, so relevant today is this. Look, we can still understand today that when you put a seed in the ground, it doesn't just instantly mature, right? Like when a seed is planted, it takes time for that seed to to bloom into something. Whether it's planting corn to eat or planting a beautiful flower in a flower bed, when you put the seed in, all you can see is dirt. The dirt doesn't look pretty. The dirt, if you're planting food, it's not edible. It doesn't look the way we want it to. We don't see the result the moment we take the action. Sometimes days later, we'll see a little bit of a bloom, something peeking out there, right? Sometimes it takes weeks, even months, right? Like I know when they plant corn, they say, I think what's to say, knee high by July, right? So these farmers are planting and they're waiting months before they ever see the fruit of their labor. And I think, how does that apply today? You know, maybe you've started a new career, and man, it just doesn't feel like it's going the way you'd hoped yet. Or maybe you're going to college, and you're going, I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, I'm studying all these classes, but I'm starving. I'm broke. I'm a college kid. I'm struggling to make ends meet. Uh, you know, you're not alone in feeling that way. I would imagine the reason that these references are used in the Bible about planting and harvesting is because people could relate to feeling like, man, God, I'm doing what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not seeing the fruit. I know for me, I've struggled with that. And I just want to say today, I feel encouraged in knowing that it's not unique to me. Sometimes when stuff goes hard, we can be like, God, what did I do wrong? Or what didn't I do right? Why is this not bringing me the results? Why am I not experiencing the goodness that I feel like, you know, I see in some of the stories in the Bible about people who love you and follow you? Why am I not experiencing that yet, God? And sometimes we can feel like God's punishing us because we're not seeing a result. But when I read these scriptures today and I stop and think and I go, you know what? It takes time. Stuff takes time. So I'm encouraged personally today as I read through this devotional to remember that, you know, God's timing is perfect. Just because the timing I want something in is faster than the timing He's allowing it. Um, I look at this verse in Galatians chapter 6, verse 9 that says, let us not get tired of doing good, for we will reap at the proper time if we don't give up. And you know what? I'm going to look at how it says it in the Message because it's going to put it all in context. Verses 9 and 10, it says, so let us not allow ourselves to get fatigued doing good. At the right time, we will harvest a good crop if we don't give up or quit. Right now, therefore, every time we get the chance, let us work for the benefit of all starting with the people closest to us in the community of faith. Listen, if you don't have a community that you're part of people that are also trying to live God's way, can I encourage you? Go check one out. Look for a local place around you. If you're down here in Sparta, Tennessee, or Cookeville, or Livingston area, check out Life Church. Such a great place to connect. For my friends back home in Kalamazoo, can I encourage you, go check out Radiant Church. Such a wonderful place. Great teaching, great worship, people in love with God. But the other thing that I'm taking away from this, especially when I read the Message translation, is a reminder that we're not on this journey by ourselves. You might be frustrated things aren't going your way. Everything will work out in God's time. But ask yourself this: am I listening for God's direction? Am I listening for God to guide me in the direction that I need to go with my life? And one way we can get more clarity on that is when we're in a community of other people who are also trying to follow God. Because sometimes uh, they can help give us some wisdom. And also, when two or more are gathered, God's presence is there. And sometimes just being in that community and praying together helps give us some clarity, and some things that just don't seem obvious to us. So let me encourage you today. Get in God's word. Whatever you're doing, if you started this path because you felt God was calling you on it, whether it's with your career, whether it's with college, whether it's in a relationship, just can I encourage you, stay the course. Remember that you don't reap the harvest immediately. Sometimes we have to cultivate it, right? We got to water that seed. We've got to spend time. We've got to give our love and our time and our energy to stuff so that it can truly grow the way it's supposed to. So I just want to encourage you that if you feel God has called you in a specific direction, don't give up. Don't give up on God's calling for your life. Stick with it, stay with it, and just keep watering that seed and patiently waiting for the harvest to bloom. Thanks so much for tuning into Bible Study Live this morning. I appreciate you. I love you guys. And if this was valuable to you, would you please consider sharing it so that it can encourage somebody else? I will see you tomorrow, Wednesday morning, probably about the same time for Bible Study Live. Thanks again for tuning in. Now go out there and make your day and hopefully some.